Hey everybody, welcome to Chiller Night Live. I am Brian Hogan. I am happy to be here tonight to talk about all things horror, science fiction, or paranormal related from 8 p.m. until 9 p.m. We'll be talking about all things chiller. And Stephanie says, hey y'all. Hey Stephanie, thanks for joining us. You got the first chat of the night. All right, I will type my weekly good evening. All right, you got to say it like that. Good evening. All right. Yeah. Wow. There's been a lot going on. I am rushing like crazy to keep up with the haunted house coming up. I mean, we're getting into that time of year, folks. It is September 19th. At least for those of us who are watching this and experiencing this live on Tuesday night, Tuesday the 19th. Brian says hello. Hey, Brian, thanks for joining us. Daniel says hello, Brian. Hey, Daniel. Daniel, are you getting ready? Oh, won't be long now. We got like 2 weeks and 3 or 4 days before the haunted house opens up. So busy, busy, busy. Busy time of the year. But it's a good time of the year for those of us who love Halloween, love horror, love haunted houses. Yes, haunted houses, of course. Daniel says always ready. All right, that's what we like to hear. All right, so yeah, it's so crazy. What a journey this has been. Lasercorn says, peeps, hey Laser, thanks for joining us. Yeah, and I'm getting my bookings already for Zombie Outbreak for October, so very excited about that. It's coming up on a very, very cool time of the year. What we're going to be doing here, if you're new on here, what we do is from 8 o'clock till 9, we spend an hour just chatting away about all things under the chiller umbrella, under the chiller topic, and of course, I'll be showing the ChillerNight Theater schedule. It appears on weekly, every Saturday night on Stream TV, beginning at 9 p.m. And we run 4 movies that night. ChillerNight Theater. Run 4 of the old classic or not so classic chiller features from yesteryear. So I hope you enjoy the old chillers of yesteryear. Bonehead says hello. Hey, Bonehead, thanks for joining us. SBC, hello, everyone. Hey, SBC. Doc Dread says, hey, Brian. Hey, Doc, thanks for joining us. Yes, indeed. What are we going to talk about tonight? You picked a topic, and we just roll with it and make a show out of it, and we'll throw that schedule up there periodically as well. And I'm also going to be talking about my store, ChillerNight Escape Experience, located at the Cranberry Mall in Venango County, Pennsylvania. I gotta say Venango County because there are 2 Cranberry Malls that really messes with anybody looking for my store, because they think it's the one down near Pittsburgh, which isn't that far away, but it's actually just a county north of where I'm located. It's in Venango County. John says, again, it's Tuesday night, and we're here for more than regular, for our more than regular get-together. This is Crozak the Grand, and it's time again for Chiller Night Live. And now here's the reason why we tune in. Here's our host, Brian Hook. Thank you, Crozak the Grand. Much appreciated. Doc says, I see Mini-Me is on set. Yeah, how about that, huh? I remember that last week. If you weren't here last week, Patty had sent me a gift that she wanted me to open live on the air as we were streaming, in which I did so. I was happy to oblige, and Patty went and got me a custom made. She made this. She made this a Jack Shadow figure there. So I am proudly displaying that on my desk. Jack Shadow is my desk mascot. So, Renee says, "Hi, ChillerNight Theater Zombie Apocalypse Escape Room. Taco Cheeseburger Terror Tuesday live with your impeccable and illustrious host, Brian Hogue." Wow, that's thank you. The #1 horror sci-fi fantasy animes in the world. Whoa, that is quite to live up to. But thank you so much, Renee, and thank you for joining us. Glad you made it with us tonight. But it says, I made it today, but it seems like I've forgotten how to spell. Well, not a problem. You got an hour to figure it out. So, Lazy Corn says, taco, cheeseburger, drool. Yes, those sound pretty good right about now. Stephanie says, I watched a bug marathon on TCM. Starting with them. Oh, really? Those are just such good movies. Bonin says, Renee Cruz is just amazing. She's the only girl I know that could get a speeding ticket for texting because she's so fast. LOL. Yeah. Yes, she is. So, that's a good one. All right, folks, you ready to see what the lineup is for this coming Saturday? Well, here we go. This Saturday, September 23rd on Stream TV, will begin at 8 p.m. Eastern Time with the ChillerNight Live pre-show, which is actually what you're watching now. I guess it's more technically the pre-show, and what we're doing now is ChillerNight Live, but we combine them just because we can. So, and then at 8 o'clock, or 9 o'clock rather, the feature movie of the night is The Undying Monster. Yes, The Undying Monster. Then at 10:15, the movie is Scared to Death. And 11:45, the movie is Lady Frankenstein, followed by The Brain That Wouldn't Die at 1:20 in the morning. So there you go, you night owls. If you want to stay up and watch The Brain That Wouldn't Die, well, it's right there for you. You can find all that, the frightening fun at Stream TV at streammedia.tv, streammedia.tv, and that'll get you to where you need to go to watch these golden classics or not so classics. So there you have it. And we'll be putting that up throughout the night. Lazy Corner says, I got you beat, Stephanie. Curse of the Black Widow. Ooh. SBC says, the Jack Shadow action figure looks great. Doesn't it, though? That is so cool. I wonder if Patty's going to be here. Pat Sylvan. Patty. I wonder if she'll show up here tonight. I hope she does. Agreed, SBC, Laser says. Bonin says, oh, awesome, Miss Stephanie. Press, I love every one of them big bug movies. Those are just the greatest, weren't they? In the old atomic age movie era, the B-rated movies with the everything was giant lizards, giant spiders, giant ants. Everything was just giant, caused of course by the atomic, the new fandangled atomic energy. By golly. Paul says, hey there, my brother, how's your neighbor? Oh, hey, Paul, how you doing? I'm not sure yet there. Thanks for asking. Renee says, green face, green, smiling bonehead. Yeah. Paul says, how's my chiller family? Well, I'm doing good, and I hope you're doing good. I hope Renee and her green smiling face there that she's writing out is doing good. Bonehead and all you guys are doing great. Daniel says, I like the action figure. Thank you, Daniel. That's pretty cool. I can't, again, I just can't believe that somebody took the time to do that. That is really awesome. John says, the 50s era bug movies were the best. Yeah. Bonin says, please don't get mad at me, Renee. I'm only joking. Hey, is it still okay to say male workers go postal? I'm probably about 40 years past that being a phrase, though. Oh, yeah, that's true. I haven't heard that. in a while. It used to be quite a thing, wasn't it? Paul says, brain surgery and drug drugs, and manos. Yes, Paul. Paul's a big, big fan of manos and the hands of fate. So, Paul says is all you need. You just need a little bit of brain surgery, drugs, and manos, the hands of fate. All right. So, so how's everybody doing tonight? How are you? Bonin says a moldy and mildewed SpongeBob. I can identify with that. Oh, I think we all can. Sure, sure. But yeah, like I said, Lasercorn says Brian is available nearby. What? Brian is available nearby? Is that a location? I see it's capitalized. I'm not familiar with that. I'd have to look that up, Laser. I'm not sure. Oh, Laser says, "Wow, let me try that again." Brian, is Ava nearby? No, she's not. She is at work right now. Stephanie says, "I'm good. I'm watching Knives Out." Ah, how is that? Do you like it so far? SBC says, "Hello, Paul." I was reading something else. It didn't take me that long to figure out it said "Hello, Paul," but I was distracted. Bonin says, "Manos, well, guess the brain surgery wasn't completely successful now, was it? LOL." Yeah. John says, "Special mention today is Adam West's birthday." I am so sorry, folks. I'm just burning the candle at both ends. I'm wearing myself out. I'm so tired. Renee says, "Paul, Godspeedy recovery." Yes. Yeah, I just talked to Paul earlier today. I had to cut it short because I had to see what was going on. But yeah, he seemed to be doing well. Could be doing better. I mean, I'm with Renee there. Godspeedy recovery to you, Paul. Laser says, "Oh, that stinks. I had a movie suggestion for her, given her connection to Rebecca Nurse." Oh, really? Well, do share. Do share. We'll pass that on to her. Bonin says, "Knives in the local mugger speedily stab the SOB." Knives in the local mugger. What? Paul says, "I can't spell. My drinking days are over. And over, darn it. Caesars are fun." Yeah, you best not be mixing that alcohol with the seizure medication, huh? That wouldn't be good. Paul says, "Thank you." Lasercorn says, "Somebody send Brian a double shot of espresso." Yeah. Yeah, I could probably use that. But here is why, my good, fine, frightening folks out there, you chiller maniacs. I am coming up on the Jack Shadow's House of Terror has been taking up a lot of my time, and it's funny because I've not even been promoting the zombie outbreak that's going to be located at the ChillerNight Escape Experience store at the Cranberry Mall in Venango County. But zombie outbreak, I still get bookings for that, even though I've limited, like pretty much shut off all the booking availability online for about the last 4 months. But every once in a while, I'll forget, and I'll get a booking, which is great. I'm not saying, that's good. That's the reason you have a business. So, but I have been working on just getting that haunted house done. Before that, I was working on the Witching Hour escape room, which will just have to be after October. Just gonna have to be, because there's no way I can do all of that before then. And thought you guys would like to see this. There's a picture of when you walk into my store. Ignore that cable that's on the floor behind that that skull column there, the archway there. That is will not be there. Comes time for the haunt, but that gives you an idea of what I see almost every day. And see the stone wall there, that stone looking wall, I should say looking wall, that black area at the top, that's where the title of the haunted house is going to be, Jack Shadow's House of Terror. That's going to be nestled in there soon. Excuse me. I just got it. I just got that in today. The banner for it. Laser Corn says, I've shared it many times on this channel. However, The Witch is one of my favorite movies ever. Please inform Ava Bryan. Okay, The Witch. I'm trying to think if we saw that one. We might have seen that one. That one, is that the one that looks like the poster for it kind of has like two V's for the W that looks like a W, but it's actually two V's. I don't know if I'm remembering that right. Paul says, that would be a neat experience. I would finally see Manos and my nurse Torgo. Yes, Torgo. We can't leave out Torgo. Bonehead says, you just said Knives In for a movie. I'm watching the Garbage Pail version. Oh, great, Bonehead. Just made another 1980s vague reference. The OI skull is definitely needing help. Garbage Pail. I remember those. The Garbage Pail Kids, yeah. Weren't they kind of the funny parody of the Cabbage Patch Kids? Kevin says, good evening. Good evening, Kevin. Thanks for joining us. Laser said, that would be it, Brian, by Robert Eggers. We actually did see that one. Yeah, I think that, gosh, if I remember right, we saw that about 2 years ago, 3 years ago. If it came out that long ago. We saw it when it when it first came out. So on Netflix or whatever streaming channel it came out on. That was one that we watched. That one. That was pretty good. Richard says, I'm here and happy to be here. Oh, well, thank you, Richard, for joining us. Thanks for being here and here. Paul says, people go to bars to meet people. I go to the hospital. Everyone. Hey, whatever works. Whatever works. Yeah, there's no rules. SBC says, the thing with the skulls at the entrance looks great. Ah, thank you. Richard says, best underrated horror actor. Ooh, best underrated horror actor. Okay, there you go. There you go. There's a topic. Best underrated horror actor. And I'm assuming that includes actor or actresses. Huh. All right. I shall dwell on this, and hopefully others will as well. Best underrated horror actor. I guess actor is a term for the females in that profession as well. Daniel says, the Garbage Pail Kids make me feel old. Yeah, you and me both. Paul says, I go to the hospital to meet people. Bonet says, the old skull is a numbskull, methinks. Aha! But says, no, I can't think. I don't have a brain, you know. Ah, that's true. Yeah, put the cart in front of the horse here. Paul says, everyone is sick with something. Ah, well, yeah, I guess if you looked hard enough. But hey, that's what's coming up. And what do you guys like to do in October? That time is quickly approaching, and well, you know, I like to do. I love the haunted houses, but I haven't had one since now. My last one was in 2020. So I wanted to have one last year, but it took me too long to get the escape or the zombie outbreak. So sorry, I really am. I've just been, folks. I'm running on fumes. I am. So you'll have to bear with me, but it's just coming up on that time of the year. But you know, here's the thing. Here's the good thing. Once the haunted house begins, believe it or not, October, it's leading up to October is all the stress and the pressure. Once it's up and running, you know, the mechanics kick in. You're doing the show now, but it is an awful lot of work getting everything prepared for that, for the opening night. So, but yeah, once it begins, October's not that bad. In fact, I think most of the time, most of my time is probably going to be preoccupied with um, escape room bookings, because I will open that back up and I'll have that running, on all the nights that the haunt is not running, except for Tuesdays. I am going to take Tuesdays off. So let's see. Daniel says, I go to work to meet people, LOL. There's another place you can meet people. Stephanie says, Tom Hiddleston from Crimson Peak. Ah, Loki! Yeah, I think I saw that movie, Crimson Peak. I believe I did. Paul says, I'm on drugs, can you tell? Prescribed drugs, right? Bonus says, I gotta be, hey, to each his own. Bonus says, I gotta be careful about dwelling on anything these days. Sometimes my mind wanders and don't come immediately back. Well, as long as it eventually does find its way home. SBC says, definitely the one who played Manos. Richard says, Lance Henriksen. Oh, there you go. Okay, all right. For one of the underrated horror movie actors. I don't know. But this is going to be a long hour for me. Now, how many of you am I causing to yawn out there tonight? I will have an effect on you one way or the other. Yeah, Lance Henriksen, yeah. Gosh, why am I drawing a blank here? I guess my mind's not really, really at its peak here tonight. Daniel says, Gemma, see, I just read it. That's how I read it. All right, Gemma, I got that right this time, is asking me, wondering where you are doing the show at. This show is being streamed live. Gemma, I am sitting outside Jack Shadow's castle in the dark domain, and where every week I hazardly sit here and put my life on the line to entertain you fine, frightening folks. I've got zombies. I can see them walking around over here. I got some werewolves over here, and I'm kind of in Butler County doing this show right now. So, however, you never know. This all might eventually be moved to here. That would be pretty cool. That would be pretty cool if I moved everything to the store, because then we could do everything on Saturday nights again. So maybe eventually that's where we'll go. That's not a good sign when the host is. I'm just wore out. I really am. I was gonna say it's not a good sign when the host is yawning. But Lazy Corner says, Brian, are you at the mall on Saturday evenings and Sunday afternoons? Yeah, sometimes I'm there on Saturday evenings until after midnight working on this thing. So I'm just, yeah, and Sunday afternoons, yes. Yep. If you've gone by my store, though, if any of you have gone by the store and you see the gate down, it's because I'm in the back working. Or I'm running for supplies, or if the lights are off. But I mean, yeah, I'm now tonight I didn't go because I had I had real life, I had yard work to do. I have to upkeep that as well. So I just figured I'd take that and do that on a Tuesday because I knew I'd be doing the show. But you know what? I will say this: There might be some Tuesdays coming up here before the haunt opens. If I have to take a Tuesday off, then I'll have to. But I will always, I'll get the word out. I'll get the word out prior to that happening. So, oh, underrated horror actors. I see Richard wrote Peter Lorre. Okay, yeah. How about Lionel Atwill? Lionel's been in, or George Zuko. Those are two that I don't know that they've really ever carried the movie, but they've always, they're in so many. They're in so many, those two. Lisa said, I heard Lance Henriksen. What? For underrated horror actors. Yeah. I guess I don't know, is he underrated? I guess so. I guess so. I don't know, he's been in, you know what I liked him in is, besides, like Aliens and stuff like that, but Millennium. Remember that series, Millennium? That was pretty cool. Daniel says, I need some coffee. Yeah. I almost brought in with me, but I didn't have, I was kind of getting some things together here, and I didn't have time. But I even bought some of this pumpkin spice hot chocolate. I had one. It did, and I didn't have one today, but it tastes pretty good. It's getting, like I said, it's that time of the year. Paul says Alien. Yeah, he was an Alien. As what was the cyborg's name? I just had it on the. Not. I don't remember. I'm drawing a blank. It's a tough night for me to focus. SBC says, with Halloween approaching, what about your spookiest experiences for next week? What about your spookiest experiences for next week? My spookiest experiences for next week is, and as far as the scariest, will be meeting my deadlines to get my rooms how I want them in the haunt. So, and to get enough actors to be in the haunted house. That's always it's the worst, like the first year when you're opening up a new haunt, a new location, new haunt, because there's so many unknown variables with that. Unknown as in, like, I don't know some of the actors I don't really know. Talk to them. I talk to everybody on the phone, if not in person. And so there's that. I know that's not the kind of answer you're looking for, but I'm saying that's in the forefront of my mind, and has been for a while. But yeah, what are some of your guys' spookiest experiences for next week? Bonin says, Brian, you're okay. I'm just worried that I'm going to have an effect on people that just ain't going to be what you could even remotely call special. Paul says, I need a lobotomy. Oh, do you now? Bonin seems to think so because of your obsession with Manos. Kind of wondering about that myself. No. Roger says, good evening. Hey, Roger. Thanks for joining us. Let's see. John says, a blast from the movie of the week passed, and just in time for Halloween. Who remembers Crowhaven Farm? Crowhaven Farm. I don't remember that one, John. I do not remember that. It's funny, when you were leading up to that, before I read the title, I was thinking like something like Dark Night of the Scarecrow, or yeah, but I don't know of this one. What's this one about? Lasercorn says, I keep hoping to make it out during one of my sojourns to Ford City. I have been able to make it out yet. Well, you make sure you get in touch with me. I'll give you I think I gave you, with our email, I think you have my cell number, but I'll make sure you have that. If you do come out, I mean, by all means, be sure to stop out so we can visit. Richard says, have Jack Shadow mow your yard. No, you know, Jack would ruin it. Jack would ruin it. He'd get it all down to the dirt, you know, make it look all dead and brown. I don't think Jack's really into the landscaping. Richard says Keith David. Oh, and Victor says John Saxon. Okay, all right. I always think of him as Mascotron in the $6 Million Man, John Saxon. But yeah, I remember him as the sheriff, the dad on Halloween. The one girl's dad. Bonus says, Paul, I hate to say it, but I'm not seeing anyone disagreeing with you there, bud. Maybe it's better to get that frontal lobotomy than to have that bottle in front of you. LOL. Yeah, I didn't see. I have to agree with Bonin. I didn't see a lot of people, you know, like, oh no, Paul. Paul says, I wonder why they would not let me drive the ambulance. Yeah. Oh, Victor says Bishop. That's it. Bishop. That's it. Was the cyborg's name that Lance Henriksen played in Alien. That's right. And Aliens. Nice. That's it. Bonus says, the sarcastic skull. Speaking of sarcasm, Tom Paisley, where are you? Yeah, where is Tom? The King of Zing. John says, Lance Henriksen was Bishop, the helpful android in Aliens. Yes. SBC said, being exhausted isn't bad until the Jack Shadow action figure suddenly wears a red and black striped sweater. No. I don't think he would do that. All right. But he is wearing this very dapper top hat. Again, thank you, Patty. That was pretty cool. He's got these little accessories. I had him holding the cane, but it doesn't fit in his hand too well. I have to kind of hold his arm up in the air and then just set it. Oh, well. The crystal ball, all kinds of stuff. That's pretty neat. Daniel says, I liked watching The Little Shop of Horrors. Cool, cool. Laser said, if you're talking about cyborgs in the Alien franchise, Brian, Ian Holmes, Ash, Lance Henriksen, Bishop, or Winona Ryder, Call. Winona Ryder? I don't remember her in the Alien franchise. Huh. It's been so long since I've seen those movies. Paul says Saxon, Queen of Blood. What, with John Saxon, he was in Queen of Blood? I'm not familiar with that one there. Oh, it's 8:30. Now, speaking of all these movie titles, let me throw up a couple more movie titles for you. For this Saturday, September 23rd on Stream TV. Here's our schedule, folks. At 8 p.m., the ChillerNight live pre-show. And then, which is, of course, this. And if you're watching this on Saturday, you can join us every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, where the show actually streams live and you can interact with myself and others. 9 p.m., the feature movie of the week is The Undying Monster. That was a live ChillerNight Theater where I was standing in as host for Jack Shadow. 10:15, the movie was Scared to Death. That also was a live show that I had hosted at the request of Jack Shadow. 11:45, the movie is Lady Frankenstein. Now, Jack Shadow is hosting that one. And then at 1:20 in the morning, The Brain That Wouldn't Die. And Jack also hosted that one. So, you can check that out on Stream TV at streammedia.tv. So, and also, there's ChillerNight.com at the bottom. So don't you dare be shy about looking that one up. check it out. Check it out. ChillerNight.com. Let's see. But it says, no problem, Paul. It ain't bad living without a brain. Look at me. LOL. Of course, I also don't have a body, arms, legs. You get the picture. Yes, but you do very well at typing without all of those. So you got something going for you. Paul says Ash was also the robot in Alien. What, the first movie? The first one? Is that what? I know the one went kind of bizarre there in the first one. Berserk. John says, well, now that depends on what's in the bottle, doesn't it? Daniel says The Exorcism of Emily Rose was a scary movie. Oh, is that right? I might have seen that. If I did, it was years ago. If it's been out that long, I haven't watched one of those Exorcist movies for a while. I know that's not in the Exorcist franchise movies, but yeah, I know they're coming out with another one. See, I'm not a. I watched the first one. I actually watched. I think I watched the first three, and then they had. Was it a remake? I don't know. And they, like kind of the mid 2000s, I saw that one. But this next one, I don't know. I just don't know how I'm not really into that. You know, I'm not a big fan of the demons and that kind of theme in the horror movies. I like my monsters, you know, like the vampires, the werewolves, the Frankenstein, just the complete fake stuff. You know, they get into that other stuff. I get a little. Daniel says, "Have you watched any of the Poltergeist films?" I have. I saw the first two, and if they've made any more Poltergeist films, I haven't. Paul says Alien Resurrection. Was that the third one? Let's see. Bonus says, sometimes I get Winona Ryder and Winona Judd confused. She was in Alien Resurrection, I believe. Winona Judd was? Okay. I still don't remember her in there, but... all right. Stephanie says, I got a day off on Friday the 13th, so I can watch horror movies all day that day. Good day to do it. Can't argue with that. Daniel said, Carrie was good. I watched it a while ago. Did you watch the original Carrie? Or... I think there's been a couple remakes, haven't there? So which one did you see? Which one did you like? Bonus says, Paul, I honestly don't know my number because I don't call myself on account of me and myself arguing, and I can't stand either one of them. Well, best just to avoid that whole situation then. All right, so where's Renee at? Renee's usually saying zombie escape room ad, which I'm going to play right now.
ChillerNight Escape Experience presents Zombie Outbreak Escape Room. You and your team of scientists are sent to inspect a top-secret laboratory in a hidden military bunker. Sinister experiments have resulted in reanimating the dead. The facility is now swarming with the living dead, and you have 1 hour to escape or be overrun by zombies. Can you survive a zombie outbreak? Book your escape room appointment to find out. Book online at ChillerNight.com or call 814-209-8214. Gift certificates available at the store counter.
There you go. I will say this. The last 3, possibly even 4 groups, I'm trying to remember the 4 groups ago, who went through, they didn't make it. Not trying to scare you. Well, actually, I am trying to scare you. But I'm not trying to intimidate anybody from trying their luck at zombie outbreak. Just let you know. It's probably, between easy, medium, and hard. I'd say it's more like a medium, you know. I've had some people get through, some really avid escape room players. I think the record was a group got out in 21 with 21 minutes left. I mean, this group was crazy good. And then I've had a lot of people who didn't get through at all. So, I don't know, if you like escape rooms, you live in the area, check it out. Paul says Friday the 13th fan filmed. Oh, that's right, the fan film. Well, I don't necessarily. I just don't have time to watch a full movie, really. But I think once October passes, I'll have my leisure time back, and maybe I'll have to check one of those out. I think they have, if I recall, they have like several. So let's see. Tom says, "I'm right here, Bonehead." There's Tom. Hey, Tom. Thanks for joining us. Bonehead says, "I hope I didn't offend Miss Renee with my ancient postal question." I'm sure you didn't. I'm sure you did not. Renee, are you all right? Stephanie says. Paul says, "I understand, Bone, but if you need a brain surgeon, I know a good one, my brother." Let's see. I know a good one, my brother. Bonehead says, "Hey, Tom Paisley, how you doing today?" Yes, Tom Paisley, how are you doing today? Tom says, "Bonehead don't need a surgeon. He needs an orthopod." Okay. And he probably feels like he needs one of those Four Locos, but none of that. No. Not with that medication. Bonehead says, "No thanks, Paul. Ain't getting a brain. I'm a disembodied skull." Paul says, "Bone, I understand. I hate, H-E-8, unnecessary voice in my head, not to worry." All right, so. All right, anybody else think of now that Tom, you weren't on, I don't think you were on here when Richard brought up one of the topics, an underrated horror actor. Some of those have been that were mentioned were John Saxon, Lionel Atwill. Who else did I say? I'm drawing a blank. I'm having quite a time here tonight. What did I say? George Zuko. I don't know if he's really underrated, but I guess these are more kind of. I'm trying to think of who else we had. Lance Henriksen. That was the big one. Keith David, Richard said. Who else? Peter Lorre. See, I don't know. Maybe he's underrated as a horror actor because he was pretty famous. So maybe in the horror genre he was underrated. That I couldn't tell you. So I'm trying to go back and see some of the ones that have been mentioned. So, all right, everyone's kind of saying hello, back and forth. Tom says, John Carradine. I thought about him. Yeah, John Carradine. Yeah. What's funny is John Carradine is, he played Dracula, in like House of Frankenstein, House of Dracula, Universal. So, I mean, he was a Universal monster. But yeah, you're right. Like nobody thinks of John Carradine when it comes to you. Certainly don't think of John Carradine when it comes to Dracula, even though he's played him in some, big movies from Universal Horror. But at that point, when they were getting to House of Frankenstein and House of Dracula, the movies had really. I mean, I love sitting and watching them. I'm happy to have them in my collection. But they're beginning to lose their luster a bit. During that time era. And they became they were starting to become, kind of like Freddy versus Jason in a way, you know. So, but I still love them though. Victor says, I agree, Brian. I'm not a huge fan of demons or possession movies. Too much religion, I guess. Brian, are you a fan of slasher flicks like Terrifier 2? Too violent for me. Give me monsters all day, every day. I like the slashers, like, you know, the ones I grew up watching, you know, Michael Myers and Jason Voorhees and Freddy, and I guess Freddy would be a slasher maybe. Leatherface, you know, those are my go-to guys for slashers. But movies like Saw and Hostel, like for me, that's I don't like watching them. I don't like seeing things tortured, you know. Now, if I'm watching something like Friday the 13th, it's done so schlocky and so 80s, you know. I was like, okay, but nowadays they're so the effects are so graphic, and it's, you know, you're just watching an entire movie about people just getting tortured in the most horrible ways possible. I'm not into that. I don't like to see that. Is like, I don't consider that. I like my monsters fake. You know, like a lot of people, even that every once in a while I meet who want to be in the haunted house or something like that. You know, I'm seeing their posts. You know, like glamorizing Satan and Lucifer and stuff. Like, I want nothing to do with that stuff. I want nothing to do with that stuff. If that's your thing, you know, knock yourself out. But to me, I don't see my whole outlook on horror on this is the thoughts that come to mind is Frankenstein, jack-o'-lanterns, chiller theater growing up. You know, it's just a fun thing, and trick-or-treating. I associate it with fun. When you get into the stuff like the Saw and Hostel, and I'm watching people. I haven't watched much of it because I think I've seen the first two. But even at the time, I sat there like, that's just to me, it's just disturbing. I don't have fun sitting there watching that. No, give me a vampire movie, something I know is not real and can never. Oh, don't you? Don't. Oh, where's he at? Yeah, I don't want Jack Shadow to hear me say that stuff. You know, I'll get fired. But or zombies, stuff like that. That big dumb fun stuff. That's my outlook on horror. Anything that likes to your heart and soul get dark, like, whoa, wow, that's not where I was going with this. But to each his own. To each his own. But that's my own. I don't care for that other stuff. I like to keep it, and even like I said, even the stuff with Freddy and all that stuff. I again, that's just so schlocky, and I can have fun with that. Because I'm also a fan of the special effects makeup, so I do like to see that stuff to an extent. Anymore, it's just a theater of cruelty, I mean, it's disturbing to me, and then it's more disturbing when I see I go into a house and seeing little kids exposed to this stuff, watching these things. I remember when I was a police officer and I'd go on calls. I'd go and go into a lot of homes, and you're talking, and there'd be a TV on, and they'd be watching that stuff, and there'd be just small little children watching that stuff. I don't understand that. understand how people could be okay exposing their kids to that. There's Patty. Pat Savannah says, Ed Wood. Oh, yeah, Ed Wood. Well, I'm glad you could join us, and obviously you have to notice your Jack Shadow, which you gifted to me last week, is proudly displayed here on the desk. So, thank you once again. Lazy Corn says, band name alert, Universal Monster. Band name alert. Patty says, I like thrillers like Uninvited, starring Al Millen. Yeah. I was just thinking of The Bat when you said the thrillers. Like that's one of like it's not really a horror movie that we play. You know, The Bat with Vincent Price, Agnes Moorehead, but you know, it's not a supernatural monster. But that's it. Supernatural monsters. You give me a werewolf, a vampire, something like that. You know, Frankenstein's monster, zombies, the Mummy. You know, that's the type of stuff that I like. I enjoy that kind of humor. Tom says he was in Frankenstein, Son of Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, Isle of Lost Souls, etc. John Carradine. Oh, Stephanie says John Carradine was also in Blood of Legacy. Oh. Yeah, John Carradine in Frankenstein. Wasn't he one of the villagers? Yeah, who he and another guy were the ones who approached the monster as he was by that little pond. I think if I remember that right. Let's see. Patty says, sorry, that's a Ray Millen, not at. Oh. Okay. I was like, I read what you guys give me. Guys and gals. Stephanie says, I only like the horror classics from before 21st century. Yeah. Tom says, Claude Rains could Gav done a lot more horror. Could have done a lot more horror. Yeah, Claude Rains. Now that, yeah, he was a very, very good actor. Although, you know, Invisible Man, but one of the roles I loved him in was in Casablanca. Claude Rains as the inspector. You know, the name escapes me, but the inspector there, Rick's friend, Humphrey Bogart's character, and Claude Rains, they worked so good together. But yeah, he could have done a lot more horror. That would have been cool. Bonin says the killer turkey and Thanksgiving. That's one sarcastic bird that'll kill you. And well, hey, how about that space vulture from the Giant Claw? It'll tickle your fancy better than a feather. Yes, the marionette monster in the Giant Claw. John says, here's a horror movie challenge and homework for you. What's your favorite non-U.S. horror movie that you like and watch? Are they from Hammer or from Argento, Fulci, or maybe from Japan? Oh, there you go. I'm initially going to go with Hammer because they're almost neck and neck with Universal. But you know, if I had to pick one, I love the Universals maybe just a touch more. Hammer's a close second, if not equal. But the others are very notable as well. Like the Fulci zombie movies. The Japanese movies, boy, there are quite a bit of them. There's a lot of them. You know, I just started seeing those, probably about the mid-2000s, more and more. Quite a bit of them. SBC says, yes, these modern Saw-inspired horror films that are all about someone getting caught in some kind of killing machine are not for me. Yeah, I don't like to see. I mean, I don't like to see that with. Give me a movie like that with an animal. I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to see any life, regardless what it is, uh, treated like that. Now, sliced in half with a machete by Jason. I don't have a problem with that. Like, I would think that, yeah, I'm sure you understand the difference of what, at least the way I'm explaining it, or the way I view it. One's very schlocky, but the other is very, boy, it pulls you right in, and you can almost feel that. But you have a lot of empathy, I would hope, toward that. I wouldn't want to see that with an animal or a human being, anything like that. And you're sitting there watching a movie about it. Yeah, I don't. That to me, that's not horror. That's just cruel. In under the horror format. Lazy Corn says, Brian, you and I are on the same page when it comes to horror movies. I have little time for slasher movies. Horror must be done properly. Yeah, I think so. Bonus says, uh-oh, well, I sure went off topic, but that's really what I do. Yeah, I'm easily confused, but nobody could tell that, LOL. Tom says, yes, Carradine was one of the hunters that ran across the monster at the blind man's cottage. Oh, yeah. Wasn't he also, though, one of the hunters? Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, that's right, in The Bride of Frankenstein, okay. Yeah. Paul says, gotta go for now. See you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Love all of 6. All right, Paul. Well, thanks for joining us. You have a good night. Patty says, does Gojira count for horror movies? That's actually not a bad question, does it? Would you guys consider stuff like Godzilla? I'll even go with. Well, let's go. Let's stick with Godzilla. I look at that more. It can be. It's a monster, but I kind of look at Godzilla more like science fiction. Like the creature from the Black Lagoon. Would you say horror or science fiction? I would tend to go with horror just because. I guess as a little kid, I grew up with the creature from the Black Lagoon as a monster, But was he really a monster? I mean, that monster evolved from, in that story, that was the Gill Man, that was a missing link or something like that between the man and fish, So, yeah, what do you consider science fiction? What do you consider horror? Or don't you care? Maybe you don't even care. Maybe you just want to have fun watching it. But that is a good question. I have thought about that. Like, what category would this really be in? That's why I always say chiller. That's why I throw horror, sci-fi, and paranormal. Because I sometimes that line gets a little blurry. Let's see. Tom says, foreign German expressionist, Nosferatu, Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, Vampire. Yeah. Those are some older movies. But, yeah, those are very, the expressionist, very artfully done. SBC says, oh no, the hour is almost over. Is it really? Oh my gosh, I did not even know that it was this time. So let me put up the schedule again. Oh my gosh. Wow, that went quick. I thought we had about 15 minutes left. Wow. Everybody, thank you so much for the comments. There you see the schedule, 9 o'clock, The Undying Monster, 10:15, Scared to Death, 11:45, Lady Frankenstein, and 1:20, The Brain That Wouldn't Die. So, wow, thank you. I'm so sorry for all of you. I didn't get your comments. Thank you once again for sharing this time with me and each other. So, have a good night. Have a good chiller night, and we will see you next week.